Hello, my name is Hiba Olama, and today I'll be discussing the deaf and hard of hearing community within the Tampa Bay area. Firstly, in the Tampa Bay area and across the United States, the legal system is slowly becoming more accessible for deaf and hard of hearing individuals, but it still has serious strengths and weaknesses. At its core, the issue is communication, since the justice system is built around spoken language, and without proper accommodations, DHH individuals can be left out of critical parts of legal processes. This relates to my future field since I'm a pre law student, and as a future lawyer, I think it's very important and critical to look at other communities that may need help within accessibility, especially within local areas. Firstly, on a more positive note, there are strong legal protections in place. The Americans with Disabilities Act requires that courts provide reasonable accommodations, including qualified interpreters, so that DHH individuals can participate in legal proceedings. Research from the ADA National Network, which is linked in my website, also highlights that these protections extend into education and public services. This helps create a broader foundation for accessibility. Additionally, organizations such as the National Association of the Deaf emphasize the importance of recognizing deaf culture and ensuring equal communication access in all public systems, including the courts. We can also see real examples of progress in research in local communities. For instance, studies such as Buckman and College's work on West Tampa show how community development and public spaces can improve inclusion when accessibility is considered. Similarly, Tampa based advocacy stories, like the Tampa Beacon article I mentioned, are about a local deaf educator, and it shows how individuals in the community are actively pushing for better awareness, training, and inclusion in both the education and public systems. This would, of course, include legal settings, which again ties back to my future career. There are also videos and real world cases that show both progress and problems in the justice system. For example, the ACLU videos I linked about deaf prisoners in Georgia highlight situations where deaf individuals were denied interpreters. This is horrible since it can lead to isolation and unfair punishment. Even though this case does take place in Georgia, I do consider it to be very applicable to Tampa and Florida in general as well, because one state's laws can always differ. So it is very important to kind of compare and contrast different states and see how their accessibility laws either evolve or devolve. Other examples, such as the mock trial video that I featured featuring deaf interpreters, show what effective communication can look like when proper systems are in place. This way, deaf people are able to be properly represented and have the accommodations that they need in place. Despite these positives, the challenges are still significant. One major issue is inconsistency. Even though laws require interpreters, access is not always immediate or properly provided. Resources from the PMC highlight how hearing loss challenges show that stigma, communication barriers, and lack of accessibility continue to affect fairness in real life systems. In court settings, even small communication gaps can lead to misunderstandings about rights, charges, or legal decisions. The SCOTUS blog I linked also discussed how accommodations in court are not always seamless and sometimes rely on last minute solutions rather than fully integrated and inclusive systems. I find the SCOTUS article to be specifically relevant because it shows how the DHH community has to face struggles even within the most Supreme Court system. Another major problem would be awareness and training. Many legal professionals are not trained in deaf culture or communication needs, which can lead to miscommunication or assumptions about what DHH individuals can understand. This is critical because, as Hands and Voices explains, there are often misconceptions, such as the idea that lip reading is always effective or that hearing aids solve all communication barriers. These misunderstandings can directly impact how people are treated in legal environments. So, while Tampa Bay does have resources and growing support systems, which are positive, these can include advocacy efforts and educational programs, but there's still work to do, which is very important to recognize. The improvements we need start with stronger enforcement of accessibility laws so that we can introduce more diversity and accommodations so that no accommodations will be optional or delayed. Courts also need faster access to certified interpreters. This includes deaf interpreters when needed, not just hearing interpreters. I think one possible solution for this would be training for judges, lawyers, and law enforcement on deaf awareness and communication practices. This can be through implementing courses or even having them learn in the very foundational level of law school the importance of accessibility within marginalized communities. Finally, expanding technology like remote interpreting services and increasing partnerships with deaf organizations can help close gaps in access, similar to one of the articles I listed. But beyond systems and tools, one of the biggest improvements is mindset and recognizing that equal justice and communication are pivotal. Without that, fairness in the legal system is incomplete. Overall, the legal system in Tampa Bay is moving in the right direction, but real accessibility means more than just compliance. It means making sure that every DHH individual can fully understand, participate, and be understood in every step of justice. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you learned something about the DHH community and their relationship within the Tampa Bay area. In my opinion, I think that there's more improvement to be done, but with different rights, such as the Disability Act, I have seen great improvement, which I think is amazing for this special community. Thank you so much for listening again.